Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome back to another Walking Dead video. So I wanted to talk about Dead City here. I do want to talk about a few things with this and sort of connect it to like Rick Grimes' return and certain things like that. And yeah, because Jeffrey Dean Morgan actually posted something yesterday that I found really interesting. And so yeah, so definitely before we go any further, make sure to be a subscriber if you do want to get all of my Walking Dead content like this. Now, what I'm seeing here on Twitter is that Patricia actually asked Jeffrey Dean Morgan, I guess because the Seahawks were playing yesterday or whatever, and so he was tweeting a bunch of stuff, and so anyways, Patricia asked, can you tease anything about Season 3? And this is what Jeffrey Dean Morgan had to say. Here's what I'll tell you. I feel like we are making the show we wanted to do 3 years ago. Now, realizing it's only a couple weeks into filming and a ways to go, but I'm excited. And that I found really, really interesting because obviously out of the 3 spinoffs, Dead City is the one that is, I guess, not the most liked, I do like the show, definitely. I really do like the show a lot. I'm a huge fan of Dead City. I just think that the story is a little bit too small and not connected to The Walking Dead, or it doesn't feel like it is, right? Like, not like The Walking Dead Daryl Dixon that really feels like it's connected or like it's the main show to watch after The Walking Dead, right? So I think that it's really interesting that Jeffrey Dean Morgan actually said this, that like, he feels like they're making the show that he kind of wanted to do 3 years ago. And so to me, that is something that is like really like, because obviously the showrunner left, right? And so I really do wonder if the reason why he left was really because of creative differences. Like, that's the only thing I could really think of at this point, because I mean, maybe it was just, like their deal ran out or something like that. But I don't know. I feel like it really was creative differences. It just seems to be why Eli Journe left as the showrunner and why they have Seth Hoffman there. And like, obviously like Dead City Season 3, I'm expecting to be a pretty big season. I think there will be a lot of deaths and just like it'll change a lot. I really do think that this season honestly could be a really amazing season because the showrunner is changing. Like, if you just look back to The Walking Dead, whenever they've changed showrunners, it's always been for the better. Like, if you're looking at Season 3, they changed the showrunner because Glenn Mazzara was doing crazy things and, like, killed off Merle and Andrea. And, like, Merle, I think, kind of made sense at the time. But, like, Andrea's death just made no sense at all. And so, obviously Scott Gimple came in for Season 4. And then, like, that was probably one of the best seasons ever. And then obviously by Season 8, there was a lot of criticisms of like, Carl's death, a lot of crazy stuff that was just happening that Angela Kang took over for Season 9. And then things got really exciting with Rick's final episodes, the introduction to the Whisperers and the whole Whisperer arc with Beta and everything, right? Like, it was just a really awesome story. And I think that Season 11 really only suffered because, I mean, I really like Season 11. I do. I just think that the issues there are, the Reaper arc in the beginning, which I think worked as well. But I think they had to rush so much story because AMC decided, all right, we're going to end this with Season 11, do 24 episodes, and then we'll do spinoffs. And so I think they had to rush everything within those episodes. And that's why I think the story feels really rushed. And a lot of stories don't feel like they're playing out properly, right? And it's really interesting when you're looking at what he's saying here with Dead City now, that he feels like they're making this show that they've always wanted to make kind of thing, I guess 3 years ago. Now I'm really excited about what that could mean for Dead City. Because it does seem like AMC sort of knows what is going on here and like what the content is overall, right, with The Walking Dead. Because like a lot of the decisions here were made a long time ago. And so before Dead City Season 2 even aired, there was a lot of rumors of Seth Hoffman being the showrunner. So like they obviously saw the season and probably thought, okay, this is not going to be the best. Or like maybe there were some criticisms, from the actors or just disagreements here and there. And they wanted to do something different with the story. And so I'm really interested in seeing what they're going to do here with this show and like what it's going to mean for the story, which characters are going to die off or which characters are, going to have different stories, and like, who's the villain going to be? Is it going to be New Babylon still? Or are things going to change? Because obviously you can't ignore a lot of that, but I do wonder if, the focus on like the characters, the core characters, Maggie and Negan, focusing on them so much and, not really giving a lot of screen time to places like the Bricks or New Babylon or, I wonder if things like that will change where the story feels bigger and we're seeing a lot more from the Bricks or like other communities, a lot more references to stuff, and like it feels like it's within The Walking Dead. I'm really curious as to, what he's going to say about this going forward, because I think that the next time we're going to learn a lot more about Dead City Season 3 is going to be early next year. I think later this year, probably for sure. But like, I mean, during the promotion of Season 3, because it'll probably be out like when? May or June or like at some point in the spring, right? And a lot of the promotion there, I wonder if Jeffrey Dean Morgan's going to really say that a lot. Like, this is the show I've always wanted to make. This is the story, I really have always wanted to do since we, first started and all that. And it would be really interesting to hear all that because, I mean, looking back at the last 2 seasons, it's just like, well, I guess don't watch those 2 seasons, right? So, I mean, the thing is like, I do kind of get it. Like, if you're really wanting the character to do certain things, like, if you look at his character too, I would say with Negan, his story throughout all of season 2 was pretty boring. There wasn't a lot that happened. Like, the ending was exciting, but like, they didn't really do a lot with him. And it really was kind of something that, like, again, it made sense for the characters, but everything else, it was just like, I really don't know what Eli Journe was doing, because it is something that is frustrating because the characters can't have a really exciting story. There's stuff there where I think people could get really excited about these characters being in a spinoff. I just think that they chose the wrong showrunner, honestly. Like, I really do believe that. I think it was okay for season 1, but season 1, honestly, like, for me, when I watched that, I always thought the story was going to get bigger. And so I was just like, well, it makes sense for the story. You're just introducing the characters again. You're going to New York City and learning about all of this. So it was the beginning, right? But then we saw a lot of the same things in season 2. So I really do think it was just sort of the wrong showrunner to have for Dead City. And I'm excited for Seth Hoffman to be there for season 3 because they could definitely take the story in a lot of really exciting directions and really get into stuff that, a lot of us want to know more about. I really feel like Eli Journe didn't know a lot of The Walking Dead. I could be totally wrong, but I feel like he didn't really know too much about The Walking Dead, like, generally. I don't know if he watched all 11 seasons or like if he knew where the characters were and like what people really liked about the show. I do think a lot of that was just, something that maybe he didn't really care to get into too much, but there was so much about The Walking Dead and these 2 characters that just felt like this show just literally took those 2 characters away and just like forgot about everything that was ever told about the characters and like never got into backstory stuff. There wasn't a lot of references to this or that. Like, there just wasn't, it doesn't feel like The Walking Dead, right? Like, the episodes could be good. You could like the characters doing certain things and it's like, oh wow, it was a really cool emotional moment. This character was really cool. And like, you could like the episodes and stuff because I did like a lot of season 2. But it also didn't feel like The Walking Dead. And looking back at it, it's like, yeah, again, it's because of what I've always said. There's no connection to like anything. It doesn't feel like it's a part of the same world. And The Walking Dead, Daryl Dixon does a really great job at that. Like, they're exploring totally different communities, but it feels like it's still a part of The Walking Dead. And I think the reason really is because like their journey is to get back home, right? Like, that's the point of the story. And Dead City, it's like, well, what's the point of the story? Like, I think if the story was just about Maggie trying to rebuild something that, like maybe trying to rebuild the hilltop again, and that would be really cool. Like, okay, so she's trying to rebuild something like the hilltop. Oh, like she's not allowed to go back there, or like she didn't want to be a part of the Commonwealth because of this and that. Like, there's been no explanation on like why she left. And, I just think that if there was more of that and it seemed like it was continuing the story from The Walking Dead, and then they were meeting all these characters and things were connecting to something bigger, like with the CRM or just anything else like that, honestly, then I think Dead City would be actually a really good show. But that's just kind of the issue, is like, it's just something so entirely separate. And it's like, are these the same characters from The Walking Dead? Obviously they are. There's some, things they talk about from the past and all that that really connects well, but it's just those other things that I've always talked about that just feel like it's not there. So anyways, Jeffrey Morgan saying this here, it's actually exciting. I'm definitely interested in seeing where season 3 is going to go here. They never announced this being the final season. The rumor is that season 4 is going to be the final season, so that's probably why, and that they're likely going to be filming early next year, so it's going to be, filming back to back. And so we'll see if that ends up happening. If that does, that would be honestly really awesome. 4 seasons for both shows, and then get into something afterwards. Obviously, all of the news of Andrew Lincoln returning is something that is really exciting, and I can't wait to see, where those talks eventually get to, because Andrew Lincoln saying that he's in talks to return as Rick Grimes, like, that obviously, like, we saw the excitement after that happened. Like, everyone was just like, wait, what? And was really excited to see, you know, if he is actually going to come back. And I do feel like there could be an announcement at some point in the next couple of months here. Like, that's the thing. Scott Gimple, I feel like if he's asked about it, like, he's going to have to talk about it. There's no way he can just ignore that now, because Andrew Lincoln literally said that. He said they're having conversations. Like, I don't know if AMC was happy about that, you know, like, but that's my thing too, is like, that's the stuff that keeps things exciting. Like, maybe AMC doesn't like that, but that's the stuff that, you know, maybe it's information that we're not supposed to know kind of thing, right? But Andrew Lincoln accidentally said that. And so it creates a lot of excitement. And that's what we need a lot more of, is excitement like that. Like, Scott Gimple's really good at like not saying anything, but I think that sometimes it hurts the excitement for the show. And I think that Andrew Lincoln, you know, he's always been really good at like teasing things like that. He'll just be honest and say this or that. And I mean, yeah, he literally said that. And now everyone's so excited about the future and everything, because they know that Rick likely is going to be coming back, especially if they're having conversations about the whole thing, right? So anyways, I'm going to leave it here. Definitely post all your thoughts down below on everything here, and your thoughts on Dead City Season 3. Do you think that Dead City Season 3 could be a lot better than Season 2? I think that it's honestly going to be a lot better. I do think that Seth Hoffman taking over, like, the first thing you're probably going to do is like, well, obviously a lot of people didn't like this or that. I'm going to listen to what a lot of people are saying about like what was wrong with the season. And so make those changes, but also, do those changes make sense? And like, what story do we want to tell? Like, what's the point of what we're trying to get back to here? Are we, you know, going back to like what made The Walking Dead so great? And a lot of that, honestly, I think that that's probably, I mean, obviously, if you're taking over as a showrunner, that's a really amazing way to, well, I mean, I guess to have everyone like you, right? Is just like do something that feels like classic Walking Dead and, you know, connect a lot of stuff there. I think people are going to be like, all right, cool. This is exactly what I wanted. Definitely, I'm so happy with this showrunner. So I just think that it's a really easy thing to do here. And yeah, I'm excited for Season 3. So definitely post all your thoughts down below. Hope you all enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one.